something. This is my first one.
Your first podcast?
Yeah.
This is my first interview.
Really?
Yeah.
I love first times.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so today I am here with Jess Wagner, who is very special. I don't really know how to describe her. She's many things, but generally I would say that she's something of a professional fairy. Incarnate, an avatar of fairy consciousness,
Oopsie.
one might say.
I feel seen.
And so, I feel like we met at there was a lot of synchronicity in the way that we met, which was we met at it was a channeling. A friend of ours was hosting a channeling of an interdimensional being, and it was very magical. And it was really funny the way that we met. It was like she came in the room and there was just this like immediate gravitation.
Yeah.
It was like I think we like sat next to each other, and then like over the course of the night we kept like moving closer and closer, and like we didn't know why. And
yeah.
it was like, but it was like this feeling. It was like this intuitive feeling of like, oh, I really
like you.
Yeah, I really like you. I just like want to be like close to you. I'm not really sure why. And and so I feel like a lot of there were a lot of sort of like synchronicities around us meeting, but one of those being that for me it was this was at a time I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, that I was sort of waking up to this clarity around myself of it was like I was sort of officially beginning a journey around self-love. And it's like these things that had been kind of circulating in my consciousness for a while, but around that moment was like when it all kind of crystallized, where it sort of clarified as like oh, this is a path that I want to focus my attention on, of like developing this, like self-love. And then Jess came into the picture, and I found your I don't know, I found like where you were at with your journey was inspiring, and it was like I'm really curious about that.
How I get there. So
Yeah. And yeah, how you your journey, because I have my own journey on that path of discovery, and it just kind of resonated, like, to hear you talk about it. It was like, oh, you're also kind of on that path.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, that's one of the many synchronicities that I'm curious about is I don't know, like maybe just to begin with, like how did you begin your own journey into like the discovery of self-love and the development of that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I thank you at first for your words. They're going deep into my heart. I feel the same. With like I saw you and was like, I like you. I want to spend time with you. You're just so so super cute, and like I don't just want to touch you. And it's like yeah.
This is we were just like, I don't know what's going on. It was like I just want to touch you. And we were
laughing like kids when we were touching each other. We were like, what is going on here? And but to the self-love journey, I was so much into the system, always looking what others think about me, what others think is good for me. Like I was in laboratory and fucking unhappy with this. And then I had a partner who was helping me. Like, he was just my angel. Like, this is a separate story, but he's one of my angels. And he pushed me to do something I love to do. And this was the beginning. I decided to go to Bali by myself. I never was traveling by myself. And then to Bali and to rescue sea turtles. And there I was 1 month. And this month changed my life completely. Because I was thinking, what do I like to do? Why am I here? What is like what I love? And this changed everything. I was coming back and going into this, what do I like to do? Who am I? I'm here to remember humanity, to love. This is like my fairy mission. Every fairy has a mission. Mine is to help humanity to remember love. And so, yeah, this was the beginning of this self-love journey. So I started to meditate, to read a lot. I don't know, I was never reading books before. So I found out, okay, I love it to learn something about myself. What is this, what I experience in life, like with mobbing, like with my family, with everything, to experience and to shift it. This was one of the key things, to shift it to, okay, shit is nutrition. This sounds like weird, but on a field of like vegetables or fruits, you don't put rose leaves. You put shit on it that the plants grow very nice. And I started to transform this shit that happened to me into like flourishing in nutrition, in gold. And this was one of my biggest steps to self-love, that I'm not victim of life, I'm creator of life. And this is like all making you ready for a mission on earth. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So could you describe that as like sort of transforming suffering?
Yeah.
Like alchemizing suffering
Into love.
and challenges into self-growth, I guess.
Yes,
you
and
know?
self-love. Like, there's, I think that's a good example for this. I had like, when my family, big trauma things happening, and my dad is alcoholic, and I wasn't talking to him for 9 years. Because I felt so much anger and pain, because he hurt me a lot. And during my self-love journey, I had one thing. I was dancing, and my right foot was hurting a lot. I was like, okay, shit, my body is telling me there is something with my roots, like the masculine part, I have to look at, because this is like taking me away from love. And then this was the biggest thing of self-love, because I decided to forgive him everything that happened, because the emotions I felt, the anger, the pain, the suffering, everything, I have to feel. Not my father. I have to feel. And when I open my heart up for reality and to love, I start to feel love. I see the person how he really is, and I can let go of this, like he wants to hurt me, and start putting the glass of, like the glass of suffering. Like, when you have this on, you are always just looking at, is the person going to hurt me again? Is the person going to hurt me again? But when you put this off and see the eyes of love, you put the glasses of love on, you see, oh, he is in pain, and it's his weird way to say I love you. It's so weird, because he never learned it.
So, well, and so, yeah, talk about that a little bit. Like, how is that an expression of love? He's like inflicting pain onto you, but you're seeing that under a new lens.
Yes, completely. Because he's always victim of life. Always. He's into alcoholic things, and always, he lost his complete family because of this. He's always just, someone wants something bad for him, try to, like, I was always remembering him like I look like my mom. So he was just, I always triggered this pain. And he wanted to love me, but he was so alone and so into his pain that he was not able to make a fancy, beautiful love out of it. He's always looking at the television and things like this. And so I had to learn that I had this deep wish to have another dad. A dad who is conscious, who's supporting me, who's not saying, what are you doing there? Why do you don't eat meat? Why you don't drink alcohol? Why do you don't have a television? Are you crazy? I was always thinking like, why I want a dad who's like seeing me. And then I realized, but it's part of me. It's part of me. I don't have to be best friends with him. I don't have to spend time with him a lot. But it's part of myself. It's like a shadow. And when I don't accept this shadow that it's part of me and start loving it, it's destroying me. And this was the thing I said, like when I realized this, I was saying to my dad, Dad, I'm ready to forgive you. I'm going to open my heart for you again. And he was crying and he said this is one of the most beautiful days in his life. And this was, like, this is making me emotional, but this was so, and from this moment, he was able to send me love, and I was able to receive it on his kind of way. And I don't judge him for his things he's doing. He's doing things I don't like, but it's my dad. And I love him because it's my dad. And he don't has to be someone I want to have. I can find it in my soul family. I can find it in my friends. I can find it even in myself. This is what I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, and I think that's interesting because I think that the finding it within yourself is something that resonates with me, where I've spent a lot of time looking to the outside world for validation, for stability or whatever that is, and realizing that that these are all things that I need to find within myself. That if I'm looking to the external world for these things, that it's actually like coming from a place of lack. And that when I find it in myself is actually when it reflects in the world around me, and that's when it shows up.
From inside to outside, every time.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting to see for me because I was like in this field and I was letting it go during ayahuasca ceremony. I start letting it go, and really I never get like love messages from my dad, but I was letting it go inside of myself, and he sent me a message out of nowhere. I love you wherever you are in the world. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is frequency. It was from inside to outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that comes to mind is I find it helpful when I'm engaging, when I have a relationship with somebody who is, for lack of a better word, toxic or inflicting some kind of suffering. I find that it helps when I see them as a child, because I think essentially that's all that we're all just babies.
Yeah.
In grown-up bodies. And when I see somebody, it's like they don't like a child doesn't, they don't really know. This is just this is the level of their consciousness. This is just how they've programmed themselves. They've been traumatized, and so they've developed these patterns to protect themselves around that. And so I find it helpful to, when it's like if a child throws a tantrum or is being toxic, instead of yelling at them and cutting them out of your life, you you just give them love. It's like, oh, like they don't really know, they don't understand, and it's like deep down they have love. Deep down they are love. It's just they've created these layers of programming to cover that up.
Yes. And that's it. Yeah. Thank
So
you.
do you what's your relationship with him like now? Do you talk to him more, or?
Like, I talk to him much more than nothing. And he's very loving. He's writing me messages like, "Hey, how are you?" I was, I had my first like stage moment here on Copenhagen where I was singing my favorite song. I was sending him this video, and he was writing, "You're making concurrence to Taylor Swift." And it's so cute. It's so cute. I love him. Like,
Yeah.
and he loves me. He's my papa. You know, like,
Yeah, beautiful.
yeah, and it's like this. I call him and I say to him like things, and I inspire him in being myself. And he's just like, "Wow, it's possible." Because this was when we were talking. Like, one thing came up. Every human being, I think, is doing the best he can in this moment, even when it's hurting you. But it's the best option for him or her that is in this moment available.
Right. Everyone's doing the best that they can.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
that changed so much. We are all doing the best we can.
Yeah.
And so, and he's always doing the best he can, but sometimes it's not that what I need, but it's the best he can. So I have compassion for him. I have a lot of compassion for him because I was also looking what happened to him in his life. This helped me also a lot to understand the pain, where it comes from, to see the painful being. And it resonates with me that we are all babies, but we are at the same time, because there is no time, we are our higher self. We just forgot to be this. We have the connection, and we have to remember. And sometimes we are in this baby energy, but we can also be, when we act out of our heart, we can also be our higher self that is always doing the best, really the best for everyone. And for me, it was like the most important thing to come back to self-love, to do what feels good for me so I can serve others. Like, when I hug you, there's like this love. And this, when I hug others, I send it too. But I can't give this love when my cup is empty. Like, when this love is not real, it's like going away. It has no substance.
Right.
But when I do what I love to do, when I fill up my own cup and fill it so much up that it's overfilling, I can share my love. And that's the thing of self-love. Do what you like. Like Ferdi says it every time, do what excites you. And even if it's a cup of tea, like my friends are laughing at me, but I do self-love dates. Like, everyone has to eat. And when I eat by myself, I'm doing a little ceremony. When I drink a tea by myself, I'm doing a little ceremony. Just because I love myself. And every day I'm yeah. It's like, hey, it's the biggest thing to be alive. And like, to make a ceremony that I'm alive, it's like, wow, and create these little sparkle fancy moments every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, and it also, it sounds like gratitude is part of that equation. It's like just having tea by yourself. It's like there's a gratitude to, for that moment, to it's like giving love to yourself.
Yes. It is like, yesterday there was a moment. I was just at Delhi Devi, one of my favorite places, cacao, hot matcha, and coconut yogurt with berries. And I was just like in my jazz energy, like just celebrating it. And there was a woman, she was just seeing me. I was just by myself, and she was like sending me a heart because she was seeing, wow, this woman is like she is fully surrendering to this food, to this love. She's making a good moment for herself without anyone.
Yeah. Cool. Well, and I find also like like earlier in life for me, it's like these questions around like what should I do? Like I want to do something good for the world. I want to go save sea turtles or go clean up trash or go. There was a period of like it was like I wanted to go build wells in Africa.
Yeah.
But what I found now, where I've come to is that that all that stuff is almost irrelevant. It's like the best way that I can serve the world is by cultivating my own sense of be the change. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I can do that in myself, then that just
Yes.
emanates everywhere I go, and
Yes.
then it's like, and you find ways to affect the world in unexpected ways that I think that's actually the most effective thing, rather than going out and like saving the climate or something.
That's it. Yeah. I agree completely. That's also what I've learned on this journey. That's why I have this tattoo, be the change, because at the beginning of the journey, when I was waking up, I was like, oh, you're eating meat. Oh, you're doing this, like putting the finger on someone. But who am I to judge? Who am I? I can be like by myself and just be in nature, eat healthy and be happy and care for myself. And so I'm doing the most for the world because you're shining and you're inspiring and like, oh, maybe this is not the way of life I want to live, to eat junk food. Like, look at this woman. She eats healthy and feels good and is healthy. Like, to be the change is the most important thing. We're going to, yeah. So it's, you know it, when you're in this love energy, you don't want to hurt Mother Earth.
Right.
It comes like natural.
Right. Yeah, and so one thing that I've been exploring lately is around that judgment, like this criticism of other people, where I everybody's just kind of where they're at. Everyone's doing the best that they can, and certainly, I mean, there's a lot that someone could criticize about me, and then, but I've had moments where I find it's almost imperceptible because it's just part of my programming, but it's like finding myself being judgmental of other people, and I guess there was a period where it got so intense for a minute that it kind of broke me, where it was like it was like, where is this coming from? Like what like why do I even care what these other people are doing? And like I haven't quite gotten to the bottom of it, but I feel like it's really turned. It's like putting the mirror on myself, and it's like, oh, this is actually, this judgment of other people outside is actually coming from some kind of insecurity in myself, that there's some tension there that I haven't resolved, and I'm projecting it out onto other people.
Yeah, it's always easier to judge others, to see others in their pain as yours, and then it's easier to judge before looking at your own pain. Yeah, and it's good you see this. Yeah, and I think it's a society thing also with the judgment. I had to learn it to stop, like when my mind is doing this, like judging, like a dog. I'm like,
you can catch it.
Yes,
like, yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It is like learning it as it was in Vipassana. Like, I'm not into the like running around and something. I'm very doing meditation a lot, but it was very hard to, our mind is like, we have to train our mind. That's why meditation is so important for everyone. It should be like brushing teeth. It is like brushing teeth, because we have there in our mind being that is, we have to train it, because it's okay. We have this we learned to be also in his lower self who's judging and something like this, but you can train it. It's like it's practicing. No one is like never judging. Like always there's many voices in my head who say I judge it, but who I want to listen. Who I want to listen, who is real, my authentic self. Is the judgment me? No. It's not me.
Yeah.
I want love. I always want like the best for them. And when the person is, I don't know, it's fat or something, it's not my cup of tea or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you have that like inner critic with yourself? Do you, I mean, I think we all do. Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
It's like a little voice saying, do you really need this? Or do you want to do this really? And I was like, I'm like, this is what I practice since some weeks. Just feeling, okay, what does it, like when I focus on this, does it feel light or heavy? To connect with my body, because my body is like a compass for my soul. And when it feels heavy, nah. And is this voice like talking bad to me? Like because there is a part, this judgmental part who's talking bad to you, like in a little bit louder or intense, but the voice of love is soft and is never saying something negative to you. Always wants the best for you. To learn which parts are what. And at the beginning I was like, okay, is it normal to have different voices? Like it's not that Dan is talking to me or something else. It's just, with this I mean parts of myself. Like my inner child, this is what I mean.
And who are you listening to?
Yeah, not in a crazy way. And there's a very beautiful, I love analogies. There is in a book that you can put it in the show notes. It's a very good book. It's like, I don't know the name. It's from Michael Singer.
Oh, yeah.
This helped me with this the most.
Okay.
This was one
he's
of...
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there was like, in the beginning, okay, imagine there's a table in front of you. And there is a book on the table, a cup, a glass of water, and a flower. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
The water. No.
I was like thinking the same. I'm the book or something. No, you are the person, like you are the being who sees. You can't be what you see.
Okay.
And that helped me so much because, okay, these voices that are in my mind, I'm not this. I am the one who listen. I can decide. I'm not the book. I'm not the glass of water. And this analogy is like so powerful because it shows how we start to identify with our thoughts and with what happens in the world. But we are the one who sees, the one who's listening. We are the one who decides what... I can decide. I can decide if I want to go there or there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, and with that inner voice, that inner critic, it's like there's times, and I've learned this from other people too, that it's like that sometimes that voice can be so judgmental and so critical that if it was somebody else, I wouldn't tolerate it at all.
Yes.
I would have no interest in being around that person. You know, the way that they talk to me. Their attitude, you know, like I would avoid them.
Yeah.
But somehow when it's like in me, it's like I allow myself to listen to that, to receive that, you know.
Yeah. I notice, yeah. And it's there important for awareness and to shift your thoughts, because you can also, that's the thing, we have the power to create thoughts. And when you are in this, it's like sometimes it takes longer, but there's a point where you can go in and say, hi, nice to meet you. It's the criticism one. Like,
oh yeah, you're the judgmental one.
Hi. Now I know who you are. And this is like making it more easy and able to let go. Because you're giving it a name, this crisis, and then it's losing power. Because
Yeah.
you see it like,
Yeah, it's George.
Yeah.
George is back.
Hi,
He's that
George.
asshole. Yeah.
Asshole, yeah, I don't, yeah.
We love him,
Yeah.
buddy.
But it's not your, I don't want to be around you. Okay. Bye, George.
Yeah. So for somebody who's maybe like just beginning on this path, like somebody who's just kind of, yeah, like earlier on the path, waking up to these things, is there like what would be the first steps in like cultivating this?
At first, I think one of the most important thing are the people around you. It's way harder to go on this journey by yourself. It's super important to have a community and like feel into yourself what places you like the most to be. Is it in maybe Copagnano or something? Is it they are calling for you? Or is it just in a cafe you like at your place? Or in the forest? Or go to places you like to be. And then you start to meet people there in this frequency you like to be. And this is going to help you make friends that inspire you. Look at people that inspire you. Read books, because I don't know if you know it, when the 5 persons you spend the most time with, you're going to get. And this works also with books or podcasts or something like this. When you spend so much time with someone who loves himself, you start to love yourself just for being around the person, because you are in this frequency. So this is one of the first things I'm going to recommend, is like to find people you want to be like that inspire you. Find a community. So because it's much more beautiful to celebrate this with others, not just by yourself. And this is one thing that is like, yeah,
it's like the thing, it's like you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yes.
And then also I think with the content that you're consuming, the podcast that you're listening to, the Instagram profiles that you're following, it's like
everything, like sort out.
Yeah.
Put away the things that are like putting you in this judgmental thing and look for self-love. Send out when someone is saying send out the wish to the universe. Like, okay, I can send out the wish, but I can also do things that makes the average, right? Yeah. More like that this is going to happen. I can also do something. It's like when I sit on a sofa and say, okay, I want wealth. Like I wish wealth. But when you stay sitting on this sofa, this is not going to come to you.
Or if you want wealth, but then you're surrounded by friends who are lazy, or they have this victim attitude, and then it's hard to create that.
And that's what universe, when you send out this wish, is giving you, like thoughts of, oh, I can go there, I can go there. This is what it's meant when you say, okay, universe, help me. Like just seeing these little things, this idea to read this book, to this and this and this and this. This is what like universe, like your higher self is helping you. It's not about, oh, there's falling 1,000 euros down from the earth. It's like the idea to go there. This is the supportive act of the universe when you send out a wish. Like you really want this. And how you said it, when you want to be wealthy, it's don't smoke a joint with like people there just hanging around. This is not making you like professional. This is making you also lazy. But if you want to go there, here in Copenhagen, like conscious entrepreneur meetups, there is the range of finding very cool people much higher to create new values, to learn things, to be in this. And so the most important thing is with who you are.
Surrounding yourself with people that inspire you. And bring like people who embody the vibration that you want to become. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Cool.
the, yeah.
Do you do any of the, there's one sort of technique where people like write on Post-it notes. They'll
I
write
have.
like "I love
I
you."
made
You do
this.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it helped me also when I had a time where I was thinking I'm not sexy.
Mm.
There were all things like that had a lot of blockages, and I was writing down on my way, "You are sexy and juicy." And in the first time, I was really not believing it. I was thinking, what the fuck?
It's so uncomfortable. I
It's
find it. I
so
find it like it's so. I have a real
wow.
like it's like a trigger
It
around it.
is.
It's like I or like the self talk. Like I've done stuff where you talk to yourself in the mirror and it's so hard.
It's
It's
so
like
cringe, yeah. But then was a switch because like some things happened, and I was like, I started to believe it, and now I look in the mirror and see this, and was like, yeah, wow, I know, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
am
feeling it.
sexy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is also one thing. When you don't believe it, just try to to connect an emotion with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be like try it to be sexy. Try to be loving. When you say I love myself and put it on your mirror, maybe hug yourself right while reading this and feel just love. But even if you don't believe it, but do something. It's always not about this quote, it's always about doing something. Like to make a step, like to show, okay, I like to do it. Try it. Even at the first time, it was a little bit cringe when I was like, okay, I'm doing my self-love date, making myself beautiful and going out in a restaurant and sit by myself there. At the beginning, it was like, oh, what does the other people think? Do they think I'm lonely or something?
Why? Yeah. Why is she sitting by herself? Does
Yes.
nobody love her?
Yeah, yeah. But no, I love myself so much that I love it to spend time by myself.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things for me that I've been getting into is this. It's this idea. It's almost like an attitude for reality, that it's like everything that I'm surrounded by, all the messages that I receive, the people that I'm with, everything in my environment is speaking to me.
Yes.
And it's like I'm programming myself.
Yes.
I'm whatever those messages are is what's being reinforced.
Yes.
And so and so there's many departments that you can get into, but one is around interior design and like curating my environment to reflect that self, the value, the sense of self-worth.
Yes. Also, clothes,
Yeah.
everything, food. Like
Right.
I'm buying biological food or healthy food because I love myself. That's showing me self-worth. And I think that's one of the biggest wounds in the world is self-worth wound.
Yeah. And I find that it's like I can sit here and say I love myself, I have worth, I'm valuable. But if I don't demonstrate that, then I'm lying to myself. And it's like if I like one of the things for me right now is I've been semi-nomadic for a few years, like moving constantly, always like renting these really like bare bones living situations. And one of the things that I've been diving into is buying things and creating a space, like a cozy space that getting plants and things that are inspiring, feathers or whatever. And I finding that it like one of the things for me was like I wanted a sense of stability, and so I needed to program my environment to feel like a home, to feel like a stable, cozy place that I want to come back to, instead of like, especially as a guy, I think a lot of guys do this, where it's like we can tolerate really harsh living conditions. And it's like, how can I or even like taking care of my feet. Like I go hiking barefoot and I'll go dancing all day, and then my feet get all chewed up and they're and so at the end of the day, it's like at the end of the day, I tend to my feet. I take care of my feet and my body, and I recover. Whereas in the past, I would just kind of ignore it. I would just keep going, and it's like how can I say that I love myself if I don't like if I love you, and if your feet were damaged, I would want to care for your feet, and it would be
Yes.
no, like I'm gonna like rub lotion or whatever.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that for myself, how can I say that I love myself if I don't even
That's
do the
it.
basic things that I would do for somebody else?
Yes. Do treat yourself like the person you love the most. Like your best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful you said this. Yeah.
Well, and this is one of the things that you inspired me about. Like that, like one of the first things I noticed was like that you would, I don't know, that you would take care of your feet, or you would take care of yourself. It'd be like, no, like my feet hurt. I'm gonna, it's like, I love my feet. And it was like, oh, it was like, oh yeah, that's how, like, that's
Yeah.
how somebody takes care of their feet
Yes.
if they love their feet. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, you know what's very funny? Like some people are laughing at me, but I don't care. I'm doing sports. I love to do sports.
What kind of sports?
HIIT, like high intense training, because it helps me also with like to come into this from a like fight flight mode to like very calmed. And when I'm finished, I kiss my body. I kiss my body and say, thank you, buddy. And I'm kissing my whole body.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was a little bit weird, but my body loves it.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's giving me like, oh yeah, I love you. Thank you for help doing sports with me.
Yeah,
Like,
and it was like the first time I saw you doing that, it was really cute.
Yeah.
But it was like oh, that, like I've never even thought of doing that. Like oh
yeah, I
love
don't
you.
know why.
Like, I'm
I don't
watching
know
this-
where this comes from.
like I'm watching this girl do it. I'm like oh wow, like I'm like yeah, that's actually like like it's weird as hell, but
It
like
is,
that's
it is.
it.
Yeah, and it is, yeah. But
Yeah.
I like it. And so I think that is why my mission on earth is just be myself. So I help people remember love. But when you see me, like, I remember you to love yourself.
Yeah, it gives me permission
Yes.
to do that. It's
Yes.
like you being like a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, I can do that too. Like
Yes.
I'm not the only one.
And it's like coming into your field that this is a possibility. That it's okay. It's possible to kiss yourself after sports and say thank you to your body, because we even don't know it's possible to do this. To how can I? So many people say, how can I love myself? What can I do to show myself that I love myself? Like you do something like show it, like kiss your body, hug yourself, listen to music you like,
Yeah.
do tea ceremonies. Like I wrote it down sometimes what I like to do. And when I really feel shitty, I'm just looking at this and think, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to start coming up in this mood, because when we are really in this low energy, we don't have the thoughts of, I'm going to kiss myself for real.
Right.
It's
Well,
not.
and it seems so simple too, because it's like how do I love myself? And it's like, well, how do you demonstrate love to somebody else?
Yes.
It's like just do that to yourself.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Make yourself a present. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Love it.
So another thing that I wanted to talk to you about was play parties.
Wow. That changed everything in my life. Really.
Yeah.
Everything.
So I guess just as a starting point, like what in your own description, how would you describe what is a play party?
A play party is a place where I can't say for every play party, because I was just at vanilla play party, and I think it's a little bit different to others. What I experience is just for this to be just clear.
Yeah.
It is a conscious, safe space where you can play out and experience sexuality in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me. And to learn how to set boundaries healthy.
And so I want to get to the boundaries thing,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, like, what's the biggest, what's been the biggest takeaway, or like the what's the thing that you've gotten out of the play parties?
Yeah, that's I have to breathe in because it's like I can speak out what I like or what I don't like. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't get rejected for it. Or didn't get like, what are you doing there? Because the man and woman, they were all so conscious and loving, and they give my nerve system the ability to see, okay, setting boundaries is healthy. Because I was saying, no, I don't want this. And they said, thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. What the fuck? And I had some experiences because I was afraid of this animalistic part of men sometimes, because they are going so big and you see myself, I'm like a tiny fairy, and for me it felt sometimes like he's going to kill me. And this was a boundary of myself, and I often crossed it. And I had in the play party, I was with a man, and I said, like, I don't like it, I don't feel safe. And he was, okay, no problem. And this was like, it's so obvious, but he said to me, I want you as a man to feel good. I don't want to do something you don't like. And I was, oh my gosh, I can just speak out what I like or what I don't like. And the person is like, he wants me to feel good. He don't want to do something I don't like. Yeah. And this was the biggest thing, to speak it out. And this completely changed my being as a woman. Because how can a man give me what I want sexual when I don't speak up for myself?
Mm-hmm.
How? Everyone is like with a like not fully into, because he can't trust me. I can't trust myself that I'm able to set boundaries. So he's not going to have a good time, and I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to have a good time. But when I say what I like, both of us, because when I step into my power and be in this joyful, juicy energy, everyone is going to have fun, especially by myself. And this I had to learn, and to see, okay, it's safe to say what I want. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And when they act with ego, like, it's their thing. But I love myself, so I don't need to spend time with someone who's not respecting my boundaries.
Right.
And this is like opening up my sexuality to another level.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So with boundaries, why are they important?
Why?
Yeah, like why yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't even really know what the question is, but it's like,
Yeah,
why
Yeah.
like, because I feel like boundaries are it's like these there's a kind, I find that there's a kind of misconception
Yeah.
about, especially people who haven't been in this space, where it's like play party. They think of orgies. They think of sex parties. They think of, like, they're like, oh yeah, get laid, like, oh, like sex.
No.
And it's what I've been finding is that it's actually the play is actually a game around boundaries. And
Yes.
it's like exploring boundaries, putting limits on things, and sort of containing the energy in ways that's actually what people are playing with.
Yes.
And so I feel like there's something profound in that. It's like there's something really big about learning to navigate this space of boundaries.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so it's like I just kind of wonder, like, why, like, I have my own ideas around it, but
Yes.
it's like, why are boundaries so important?
Yeah, it's like when I go into this, so we can take it more like real. It's like for me, a boundary is when it don't feels good anymore. That's the boundary. When something feels good, nice. When it doesn't feel good, there is something crossed. That's the thing. Like in very simple words. That's what a boundary is. When a situation is not feeling good anymore.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's in the context of self-love, it's like the boundaries are, it's like you're affirming your own value or something. It's like if you allow the thing that doesn't feel good to continue to happen, then you're it's like you're sacrificing.
Yeah.
Like you're not treating yourself
Yes.
with the love that you would if you have that.
Yes.
And so it's like so it's affirming your own value, like you know, I don't know, yeah, like creating that container, and then it's also it's creating a guideline for other people
Yes.
to engage in a way that it's like people oftentimes boundaries are seen as a rejection. Like, no, it's like one person might feel good for one person, the other person says no, and it's like instead of it being a rejection, it's actually like a form of preserving the relationship.
Yes,
It's like
it
we
is.
can continue
Yes.
relating and doing this thing, but we're creating these guidelines, and so it's actually like it's actually conducive to the relating instead of like the rejection feeling.
That's it. Yeah. I often had this when I didn't spoke out my boundaries. I felt after, also in sexual ways, raped by myself because I wasn't speaking out what I want, and just like it don't feels that bad, but it don't feels that good. So, but when it's not a hell yes, it's not it's not for you. It's a no. And that's what the play party is. A place where you can discover if you like it or not. And you can step into situations you're not usual into. Like I had an experience with a woman. It was my first time. And I can just look, okay, how does it feel? And when it doesn't feel good, I can say stop. Okay, I don't want it. So, but it's a playground to discover your boundaries. What are my boundaries? Do I have some? Like what? Yeah, you have. Everyone has boundaries in a kind of way, but it's a playground to discover.
Yeah.
That's what it is when we like put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So I
I just
also
have to look on the time because I have to be at Delhi Davy at 3.
okay,
How long is it to Delhi?
maybe 15 minutes, 10
Okay,
minutes.
then I have to we have to continue it.
Okay.
Wait.
We're putting a boundary on the interview.
9 minutes. Yeah. A boundary. Yeah, because I love myself, I need food.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So it was great talking to you today.
Wow, thank you so much. It was amazing. This is like, this is something new for me to say I had this yesterday. Someone was saying to me, you want to go eat something to Thai? And he was like, no, I said, I want to go to Delhi Davy. He said, I don't like Delhi Davy. And I was like, okay, you can go to the Thai. I go to Delhi Davy because this is now what I like to do. And
So you weren't compromising.
Yes.
You weren't sacrificing what you wanted to
Yes.
do in order to meet somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like, now, another time I would be like, okay, let's see how the podcast is over. And then I go. But no.
And then you're late, and then you
Yes.
feel
Shit.
Yeah, you
but
feel
I
kind of like
I want to feel good. So I say, hey, I have to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so this is going to be a healthy continuing of a relationship because you can trust me that I say what I want to do, and I can trust you that you are like okay with it.
That I'll respect that.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the name of respecting boundaries, I think we should end the interview so that you can get to your Deli Devi date on time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
That's what it is. Thank you for this space. I think we created a lot of love for everyone who's listening. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
I would love to continue this.
Yeah, we will.
Yay!
Cool.
Wow, it made a lot of fun.
Okay.
Come here.
Okay.
Come here.
Oh.
Yay! Tuki.